Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, June 27th, 2025. I am Dave Biddle. I'll be joined by my friend Jonah Booker in just a moment. We're going to answer your questions. We put a post on Twitter last night, and we're going to answer some of the questions from the Bucknutters out there. Before we get to that, I'm going to let you guys know about Ridge Wallet. I mean, J-Book's a customer. He can tell you about it too. We were rocking these when I was down in Arizona. People were like, what in the heck is that? That can't be a wallet. It's a wallet. You got your cash strap right there. You're not strapped for cash. You got your cash strap. It can hold up to 12 cards. You probably don't need 12 cards. We carry too many cards usually, but yeah, you can hold up to 12 cards. Look at that thing, man. Look at that. I sound like John Gruden. Look at that, man. Are you kidding me, man? Randy freaking Gratishar, man. But seriously, I mean, Ridge Wallet is awesome, and we can get you guys a good deal. And as you guys can see, Ridge Wallets, they're ultra slim, sleek, surprisingly spacious. Like I said, they can hold up to 12 cards. You got your cash strap. It slips right in your pocket, and it practically disappears. To the point where Jonah and I were talking a few weeks ago, it's like to the point where like sometimes you think you forgot your wallet because you're used to that big bulky wallet, the George Costanza wallet. That just weighs you down. It's like a weight in your pocket. And then you have this thing. You're like, oh gosh, I forgot my wallet. No, you didn't. It's the Ridge wallet. All right. Here's where you guys need to pay attention. Right now, you can get 10% off your order at ridge.com/bucknuts. Just head to ridge.com/bucknuts. When you check out, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. You can be cool like Jonah Booker and get yourself a Ridge wallet. It might not be as cool as Jonah Booker, but you can try to be. My man, good to see you on a Friday as always.
How are you? Glad to have you back in the action, man. You didn't miss a whole lot, just some recruiting stuff here and there, but hey, it's always good to have you back on the show.
I appreciate that, my friend. And like I said, we put a post on Twitter. We're going to answer some questions from the people. All right, let's get with this. All right, let me start with the first question that we got here. All right, this is from BK Brad. I don't know if it's Cook, KOCH 04. Brad on Twitter asks, J-Book, how close to the season do you expect Ryan Day to wait to announce the starting quarterback?
Oh, that's a good one. I think we need to look back, Dave, on his process. Years past, I would say midway towards the fall camp, so that as they start gearing up for Texas, that he'll go ahead and make that announcement, and then whoever that quarterback is that they decide will now get the keys to the team and the offense, and he can start taking all of the reps, so that last week of heading into Texas, the last week of training camp, that's when they typically kind of do their final scrimmage game. And then after that, that's when they start getting into the Texas prep, where they specifically start game planning for that Texas game. So I think it will be probably midway, I say at least 2 weeks out before camp breaks. What's your thoughts?
I exactly feel the same way. It'll be like, but right now, do we think Ryan Day knows right now who his guy is? Absolutely. Like I'd bet, I would bet your house. I'd even bet maybe my house. But I would definitely bet your house that Ryan Day knows right now who his guy is. I think it's Julian Sain. But yeah, he's not going to make it official till probably 2 weeks before the opener. And I like it. Like why? He knows. Why announce it publicly right now? There's nothing to gain from it.
Right. Because here's the thing. What if Julian Sain comes in and just has a bad camp? Like if you name him the starting quarterback and he comes in and he's not performing at a high level, and then Lincoln Keyholes all of a sudden takes his game to the next level, now you're talking about, hey, we now have a true quarterback controversy. Because I believe, Dave, you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys are going to be allowed to get in there the first 3 practice once they start.
Yeah, because I think 2 of them they're like opening to the public, so they have to let the peons and the media in as well, I guess.
Yeah. So those first couple ones, if there's a situation to where, hey, he preemptively says Julian Sain's our guy, and he goes in there and he's not performing at a high level, that's when you're really going to start hearing the whispers. So I think keeping it close to the vest for right now, and even if you know who your guy is, And then that last week, when you head into that final scrimmage, go ahead and announce it at that point so that you can give Julian or Lincoln all of the first team reps. And then as you transition out of camp, now this Texas prep is full steam ahead, preparing for Texas.
All right, next question. J-Book. This is from Adam. Adam on Twitter. Do we call it Twitter still? I call it Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter to me. Sorry, Elon. Elon even said, like, yeah, you can still call them tweets. You can call it Twitter. I don't know why he renamed it X. He names everything right. X. He named his son X. He has SpaceX. Everything's X. I still call it Twitter. All right, from Twitter, Adam J-Book. What position group? He said, I think this is for both of us, but I want you to answer first. J-Book, what position group are you more bullish on than maybe the consensus among Ohio State fans and media?
Ooh. Well, I think this is going to be a really good offensive line. Even though they lost 2 tackles into 3, actually, if you want to count 3 guys that played tackle last year to the NFL, I still think this is going to be a really good offensive line. Mm-hmm. Especially when you look at the interior, you got 4 guys coming back who played a lot of football on the interior on a national championship winning team, still basking, Dave. And then you bring over the transfers at the tackle position, and then they feel really good about it. So I think the offensive line has an opportunity to be really good. And the crazy thing about it, looking at Phil Steele and seeing some of the preseason kind of commentary, a lot of people nationally are down on this offensive line, which is kind of fascinating to me. But if you really follow this team, it always starts up front, especially when you got some interior guys. The left tackle that came over from Rice, a lot of people thought that he was going to the NFL draft. And he's starting to really pop up in some potential mock drafts as a guy that can be a day 1, day 2 pick. If he plays at that level, then you're really going to see this offensive line take off.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job in the portal. You know, guys like Max Clare, Bo Atkinson, like Logan George, they did a really good job. CJ Donaldson, but I think Ethan Oniano was the most important get for them. He's a man-child. He's mature. He was productive. I know it was at Rice. It's not like he's coming from like D3 though. He's playing like D1 football. And getting a chance to talk to him in the spring. Very mature, very smart. When he was coming out of high school, he was like picking between Rice, which was a great academic institution, and then like Harvard, Yale, and like other Ivy League schools. So we're talking about a very intelligent young man, absolute man-child. And you're right, man. Like a lot of people like thought he was going to be a 2nd-round pick in this year's draft if he would have left. So I love getting Ethan Onianwa. Like you said, it's kind of weird to say. By the way, you stole my thunder again. I was going to say offensive line too. I should have probably said that initially, but you're right, man. And isn't it crazy? Like Ohio State, I can't remember the last time they had 2 offensive linemen drafted in the 1st round in the same year. Right. I'm forgetting something. Like I can't remember the last time they had 2, and they had 2. Like I know Josh Simmons like missed like half the season, but still, you had Donovan Jackson 1st round, Josh Simmons 1st round. It's like, geez, at least 2 1st-round picks. That offensive line is going to be bad, right? I'm with you, man. I love this offensive line. Getting Onianwa. They also got Phillip Daniels in the portal. I think he's going to be the top backup because I think Saraveld's going to be starting right tackle. Right. And those guys that got experience that were like missing in action, Carson Hinsman. Carson Hinsman has a ton of experience from the previous year too, but he wasn't playing at all last year to the injuries. Luke Montgomery's another one. All those guys were back. Tegra started the entire year. Man, I really like this O-line.
And don't forget, they got Justin Terry, the transfer tackle from West Virginia as well. So he's another body that's going to be in the mix competing there. But yeah, I do think this offensive line, if they can stay healthy, I think they had the potential to be really good. But the great thing about it is I probably feel better about the depth at the offensive tackle position going into this year than I did at this same point last year. That was you and I had multiple shows about, okay, if this happens, it could be a major problem. And one of the biggest issues that we talked about, and it actually came to fruition, and we probably jinxed it. What happens if there's injuries to the tackle position? Because when you looked at the position, Ryan Day was very, very outspoken once camp opened that he was concerned about the depth at the tackle position. There was no one that they really felt can play that left tackle position in case something happened. I mean, obviously, Donnie kind of saved the season by the way he performed, and he helped himself tremendously with his performance in the NFL draft. But going into the summer, I don't think anyone looked at Donovan Jackson and saying, hey, this kid can play lights out at the left tackle position in case something happened. But now you look at all of the bodies that they currently have at that tackle position, I feel much better about the depth going into this season.
It's crazy, man. It's like we'll never know, but like if Donovan Jackson wasn't basically forced to play left tackle, like he probably is not going to be a first-round pick, right? Would he even been maybe I don't even know if he'd have been a second-round pick as just a guard.
It's crazy because you can make a solid argument that he played better at tackle than he was playing at guard. Because you remember there was a lot of talk when he first came in at guard. It was like, man, Donnie's not really living up to that 5-star status. Like they really need him as a veteran to take his game to the next level. And then once that injury happened at the left tackle position and he was forced to kick over, it is almost like it unlocked something inside him because he absolutely took his game to the next level. And then obviously him being a second-round pick, I think that is a prime result of how well he played at that position.
All right, next question.
First round pick.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, a great young man from a great family. We had his mom on the podcast once. Monica hooked that up, of course. Just a wonderful, and he looks a lot like his mom too. It's very easy to tell if you ever see Donovan Jackson's mom, you'll know that that's Donovan Jackson's mom. But great young man from a great family. It's so cool that two Ohio State offensive tackles were taken in the first round. All right, next question. Very serious stuff here. We're gonna peel away from 2025 Ohio State football chatter for just a moment. All right, this is from OSU Vids on Twitter. He's like, "Do you guys prefer flats or drums when you're eating chicken wings?"
I'm a drums guy, and I know a lot of people are flats men, but I just like sticking the drums into the ranch or the blue cheese, man, and pulling away at it. I know a lot of people are going to say, "Come on, you got to be a flats guy," but me personally, I love the drums.
When I get chicken wings, I never do now you have to pay extra for flats. It used to just be you'd pay extra for just the drums, right? Like that was the thing like 20 years ago or whatever. It was just you never saw it pay extra for all flats. It was for all drums, it's like $2 extra. It's like, okay. So I always just get the mix. Yeah. And I used to be a drums guy. Then I don't know if this is good or bad. I read a story that said on average, the flats have more meat. Like now, obviously it depends, but like all things being equal, the flats have more meat. So I was like, well, I like them both. One has more meat than the other. Now again, it depends on how large the chicken wings are. I'm a flats guy. I'm a flats guy.
All right. Guy. But hey, I love some wings. So I'm someone I do not like just getting one side. Like give me a combination of both the flats and the drums.
And do you get two different flavors? Like I like a little garlic parm and some hot.
I like it
hot.
Yeah, I like a two flavor. I like having a variety if that's available. Sometimes there's this place out here, man. Next time you come out here for spring training, it's called Local Patron over here in Scottsdale, and they have these salt and pepper wings, and they're so crispy and seasoned to perfection. But when you get them, dude, the drumsticks, man, they're so big. Flats are good too. So when I go in there, no sauce needed. Give me the salt and pepper wings. The combination of the drums and the flats, man, and it's with a nice cold beverage.
I'm hungry now, man. That sounds fantastic. All right, let's get to some more questions here. Yeah, I mean, like, I like the garlic parmesan, but like that, you better have a lot of mouthwash and toothpaste and
on you,
and brush your teeth maybe like 3 times, not just once. But I like this. This is from forget who actually posted this, but he did this from Grok, which is the AI agent for Twitter. He's like, Ohio State defensive linemen and defensive ends from 2014 to 2025 have earned about $1.2 billion in the NFL. Below is a key list of players and their estimated earnings. So Joey Bosa's earned about $246 million. Nick Bosa, $150 million. Chase Young, $83 million. Let me go down the line here. Draymond Jones, $65 million. Sam Hubbard, who recently retired, made $47 million. Devon Hamilton, is it Davon? I always said Devon. I think it's Davon. Davon Hamilton, $34 million. Tyquan Lewis, I didn't know this. I love Tyquan Lewis. $21 million he made. He was a second-round pick by the Colts and then got signed a couple times after that. And already Tyleek Williams has made $9 million because of his guaranteed money being a first-round pick. Jalen Holmes made $8 million. Noah Spence made $8 million. Pretty good.
Right. And I think they're missing Jonathan Cooper. Did you say him?
Yeah, because I didn't know.
Because Cooper was on the defensive line here, but he transitioned to outside linebacker in the 3-4 defense with the Broncos, and he just actually signed an extension as well. So they're missing Coop.
They are, yeah. I mean, these AI agents, man, you can't trust them, man. You know, they might take over the world eventually, like Terminator, but you can't trust them. Should have had Jonathan Cooper, and they did say it's accurate as of June 2025, but figures may vary with future contracts. Yeah, I just don't think that they knew about the great Jonathan Cooper, local Columbus kid, no less. All right, this is from Chris Miller on the Twitter machine. J-Book, who are your favorite college football announcers?
Oh, I would say Musburger. That's my youth watching the Ohio State games. They were coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio. Like that right there, that commentary, like you knew if he was on the call, it was going to be a big game. And those were the days where you had the natural grass when I was a kid, Dave. And the prime time game was always, the evening game where you get that 3:30. Like I'll never forget that. Michigan, Ohio State 1-2, and the kickoff was at 3:30 p.m. Yeah. He was on the call, and so you got that first half of the game was in the daytime, and then first time ever you had the backdrop of it turning into a night game. And that game, because he was doing the pregame, and the night before, Bo Schembechler had passed away. So there was so much going into it, that particular game. And there was a whole scuttlebug about how Michigan thought Ohio State was trying to play tricks because they had bomb searching dogs coming up on their bus and thought that they were trying to delay them. And that game right there, that's just one of the games that will stick in my mind until the end of time. And that's why I always say, I know people it's like 12 o'clock, Michigan, Ohio State. It always has to be that. But until you experience that 3:30 when it was 1-2, just the tension, you can just cut it. You can just feel it, Dave, like the stress level for all of the Ohio State fans, because you knew win this, you're going to the national championship. Troy Smith, if he plays extremely well, he's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy. Beanie Wells, true freshman running back, how's he going to handle going against Lamar Woodley and that stout Michigan defense? That's one of those games where, Brent on the call was just absolutely tremendous.
Can't go wrong with Brent Musburger. That'd probably be my number one as well. I'll go with another one of my favorites is definitely Brad Nessler. He's still doing it. He's probably, probably doesn't have too many years left, but I've always liked Brad Nessler a lot. And I want to give a shout out. I know you guys are asking about like TV announcers, but I do want to give a shout out. I think Buckeye fans are fortunate to have the radio announcers. I know most of us that never listen to the game on radio, we're watching it or we're there. But like if you happen to be not able to watch the game, you're on the move or whatever it might be, to have Paul Keels and Jim Lachey as our radio announcers is freaking awesome. Like Jim Lachey, obviously the former like All-American Super Bowl champion. And then you have Paul Keels, the voice of God. And by the way, both those men are good people. Like I know both of them personally, and I'm not like I'm best friends with them, but like I know them personally. Paul's a great guy. Jim's a great guy. When I'm on the road for bowl games, late night discussions with like former players and people that are in the know is always a good thing. You always get to glean some information. Nobody has better stories than Jim Lachey. Nobody has better stories than Jim Lachey. He's awesome. So I think I just want to give a shout out to Paul Keels and Jim Lachey. But yeah, Brent Musburger, Brad Nessler. I like Keith Jackson back in the day. But yeah,
that was going to be my last one. Whoa, Nelly.
Nelly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With Keith Jackson, like I remember that Rose Bowl between Texas and USC, one of the best games in college football history, when USC was the dynasty with Reggie Bush and Leinart and the Thunder and Lightning combination, and then Texas storms in there with Vince Young, and it was like a back and forth struggle. And Keith Jackson was on that call. That was like one of the best college football games ever.
Yeah, and Keith was on the call for Ohio State's 2002 national championship game. Unfortunately, Dan Fouts was also on the call. But yeah, man, I remember that. Obviously, everybody remembers that classic Rose Bowl with Texas and USC. Like, just the way Keith Jackson said Lendale White. It was just like, oh, because they just ended up, even though Reggie Bush was awesome, they ended up like Lendale White was actually like their bell cow for that game. He had a great game, but like just the way he said Lendale White. And then the other famous thing that he said about Ohio State, right? The old horseshoe on the banks of the Olentangy.
Yep. And then I tell you what else I used to love about that. See, back in the days that they used to announce where the players were from. I used to think that was so cool. That from Akron, Ohio, and then they'll have like the player's picture, and then like right below their picture, they used to show where all the players were from. Like that was the great classics back in the days.
I love watching some of those old games, like even going way back, like the 1969 Rose Bowl. So it was the 1968 season. So the super sophomores, they were big time underdogs against USC in the Rose Bowl. O.J. Simpson was on that USC team, and the super sophomores go in there and they beat USC, win the national championship. To your point, you can watch it on YouTube. Like you can just pull up 1969 Rose Bowl, and they introduce the players. Like, you see the guys running out there like Rex Kern, and then like what town he's from and everything. And like it was just really cool. So I like looking at some of those old games. All right, let's move right along here. All right, next up. All right, now this is a direct question. There's nothing wrong with this. This is from Jay Miller. He has the M X'd out. Jay Miller on the Twitter machine. J Book, how is Sain looking?
I think you talk about Julian.
Yeah, how's Julian Sain looking? We don't know yet, but let's.
I know we don't know. We haven't seen him since the spring. The last time we saw Julian was the last time that you saw him. But he was in California throwing to a lot of the wide receivers and the skill position guys. So those guys are pretty much on vacation right now. All the coaches are away. Once the camp resumes, that's when everybody will know how Julian Sain is actually looking. Yeah,
and I think I get asked this a lot. Like, is he definitely going to be the starter? Like, I wouldn't say like 100%, but I'm like 99%. Like, and I am thrilled Lincoln Kienholz is on this team. I think he could get the job done. I'm also glad Tavian St. Clair's on this team. Like, I don't think he's not going to be ready as a true freshman, but if like the worst case scenario happens, that's better than have some like random walk on like who wouldn't be ready. Tavian, like at least he's got the mental strength that I like for a young guy. All right, let me get you out of here in this. I know you got to get going.
Yep.
So recruiting wise, so Ohio State right now has the number 5 class in the country for 2026, but they're number 2 in average player rating, which is the most important thing. Number 2 in average player rating. Your thoughts on how recruiting is going? Do you have any concerns? Just your overall thoughts.
Man, you obviously understand that the NIL era has kind of changed, and you have to kind of keep that into perspective, because as much as you want to build a relationship with the kid, you see teams coming in at the last second offering a big bag. Are they recruiting well? They're top 5 right now. And I still think there's a lot of pieces that they can add to the puzzle to keep them right up there. The one guy that I'm curious they can land is Braylon Womack, the safety out of Mississippi. If they can get him, then I feel really good about this class. I still think that some defensive linemen need to be added to the fold. So if they can add some more pieces to the D line here, I will feel much better. I like the offensive line targets. They got 4 guys committed right now. They're probably going to try to add one more offensive lineman. If they can do that, hey, great job on the offensive line haul. But I do think that they've missed some guys. I truly believe that Carson Baker, running back out of Georgia, he was one that they probably should have taken his commitment, a 6'2", 200-pound running back. That's a track sprinter. Those are rare gems at the running back position. Coach Walk at the cornerback position, he's having a little rough go at it. But you don't worry about Coach Walk. He's an elite recruiter. But Matt, if they can get Braylon, the Womack kid out of Mississippi, the 5-star safety, to pair with Bradford, the safety out of LSU, out of Louisiana, you're going to say, man, that might be on paper the best haul at the safety position that we've ever seen. So they're there. They got the talent. There's been some misses, more than what we probably thought would be there for a team that's coming off a national championship. You would have thought that, hey, we'd have saw a huge national championship bump, but I think that's being squashed down because of what's happening in NIL right now.
Great stuff from Jonah Booker. I appreciate it, my man. I know you got to get rolling. Great stuff. Thank you for the questions from our friends out there. Jonah and I will be back with you next Friday. I'll be with Dan on Monday. I hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend. Go Bucks.
All right.
Still back.
Talk to you next week, man.
See you, buddy.
All right.